Hey there, it's Jenny, and I'm back to share with you how I planned this week. I pre-planned using the sticky notes from Stickeys, and I talked to you about that already. They gifted me some to try out, and I was just really impressed with the quality of them, and I also really like supporting Black women-owned businesses. So check them out. I'll link them up below. I am using a kit from Let's Plan It. I wasn't 100% sure on the colors. I mean, I know that seems kind of weird. Like you purchase the kit, you're not sure on the colors, but like I liked it, and I liked the florals and stuff. The lime green kind of threw me a little bit, but I decided to go with it to see how I liked it in the end. I am creating my clusters, full boxes, and then the decoratives. That's one of the reasons why Let's Plan It is basically one of my favorite planner sticker shops. She has a variety of sheets that really work for me. She's got plenty of different decorative stickers that I can stick in white open spaces. Now, obviously, I have other stickers. I could totally do that. And then she's got these really cool bar stickers as well. So like right there where I have the next week, I like to, when I'm planning in a 7x9 planner, put that on the lower part of Sunday so that I can kind of write down things that are coming up in the following week. I don't know that I'll be using it in this specific planner since I'm sort of planning as I go, right? Instead of like, I don't know. It may not work for this specific planner. But anyway, so lots of layering, lots of different decorative elements, and I'm here for it. So I am using the light gray mild liner this week, which it's actually probably my favorite mild liner just because I love gray and because it's super different than other colors, but I don't use it all that often because obviously I typically use a lot of color, and so light gray isn't really necessary, am I right? So I am adding in the activities and the plans for the week, which is how I start the week, just the things that I already know that are pre-scheduled. And I am alternating between obviously writing directly on the page and then using the stickers. This helps me in two ways. I like the way that it looks. It keeps my eye moving down the page. So that's kind of one thing. And then the other is that it also helps in terms of keeping costs a little bit lower. Like if I used stickers for absolutely everything, I'd be spending a fortune each week on stickers. And it's really not my goal. It's also really not quite as creative as I feel like I can be. And so I like giving myself some flexibility in using different mediums and stuff, even if it's just using the highlighter, which is, I mean, arguably no more creative than using the stickers. It at least allows me to choose the color and, change things up in terms of how many lines I use or things like that. So just giving myself some variety. I ultimately would love to incorporate more stamping in this planner. I just am not quite there yet in terms of combining it with stickers and then making it all work. These spaces are sometimes very specific, so I just need to really think a little bit more about that and just give it a go, I think would be the answer. Now, the other answer is that I did want to add some stamping this week. Like I felt the pull to do that. So I used the baseball icon stamp to notate the baseball game. And I feel like that really worked out. Like it sort of scratched that itch. Like I felt like, okay, let's add a little bit of that. And then also adding a touch of brush lettering now and then also helps with the creativity angle. I had two lighter pink brush lettering pens, so I tested those out to see which one I preferred matched better with this kit. I wouldn't normally worry about such a thing, but since I had two, I might as well test them. Like if I only had one, I would just use it. I wouldn't even give it a second thought. But because I had two, I could find the one that matched a little bit better. And it actually turned out fabulous. I kind of am in love with how it looks, if you want to be honest. And again, you don't have to be. That's the beauty of our individual planners, right? You can be like, yeah, it's okay. And I can say, oh my gosh, I love it, or I hate it. And you can think that it's fine. You get to do what works for you. I get to do what works for me. And it all just is lovely. And I love that. I love that about all of this. It can help you inspire different things to use in your own planner, or the opposite. Like, yeah, I definitely don't like that. I definitely don't want to do that. And I just feel like all of this is such a personal journey. All right, so we're continuing on. We've moved on to Thursday, and as I've discussed in the last few weeks, I am notating my son's school schedules. And look, got to stamp a little bit more. I am notating their school schedules, and so that's why Thursdays and Fridays are always now a little bit heavier for me than normal. They normally have stuff going on, but now that they are back to school, they have online and in-person school on Thursdays and Fridays, and I'm keeping track of that. So it just adds an extra element for those days. So now we're going to move on over to Friday. And again, I try to use the patterned stickers first in terms of the functionals, because in the future, when I put these in, the extras in my sticker book, those are going to be much, much harder to use up than solid, like a solid pink or a solid gray box. And so I don't love letting stickers go to waste, particularly the kind that I would actually use. So I use these first, and then the others will get used. It just works for me pretty well. And then a week like this, where I have every single sticker available to me, I feel like at the end of the week, I'm usually pretty pleased because I had my pick of all of the things. Now, this is how I am storing. This sticker book is for all of my sort of functional stickers. And by that, it means, a random sheet here, a random sheet there of boxes. And then I also include icons as well. I consider those two things to be really functional. Obviously, icons could also be considered decorative, but for me, they fall in the functional category. So they get stored in that book. I have a couple of other books that are similar to this that have my different decorative stickers, either just one-off sheets or that are kits. So I store them primarily by the way that I use them. I find that across the board in my planning and my memory keeping, that works best for me, because I'm not usually thinking about, let's see, I want a Let's Planet kit this week. I usually am thinking about theme or colors. So that's what works for me. Now I am moving on to the weekend, and I am going to add, look at these, I love them, these little push pins from Chrissy Ann Designs. I have both the primary colors and then the pastels, and so adding the pastel black, which is gray, I am able to match the kit and have the little push pin, which I love. Now I'm going to also put in a little bit of washi tape. This is just white with a black grid. I've been using these for several months now, and I'm still just as happy with them as I was at the beginning. It helps me add a little bit more decoration, but nothing that's over the top, nothing that feels like, yeah, that's too much. So I don't foresee quitting the grid love affair anytime in the real near future, but I suppose things could change, right? I also love to tear an edge every now and again when I can, just because I love the effect that a torn edge gives, especially if you can sort of graduate like the effect, like one end of it is, or the top or the bottom has a longer edge than the opposite. So now we're back to Monday, and the things that I like to include as I'm going is obviously things that, appointments, activities, things like that. We already know that. But I also like to include Happy Meal. I like to include to-dos. I like to include if my husband went and played pickleball. Just those types of things are things that I include after the fact. So, okay, I needed to film, as you can see there. I needed to call the dentist. I add that there. So those are the types of things that I am including as we go each day. Now, of course, obviously activities can creep up throughout the week, and so, or appointments, and I include those, obviously, but I was just wanting to give you sort of an idea of other things that I include after the fact. So like, what am I including now that I'm not including when I first plan at the beginning of the week? And then if there's any white space, I do like to add a little decorative touch there and not have too much open white space at the end. Obviously, every now and again, there'll be a line or something like that that I leave open just for sort of some flow. But by and large, I try to fill most of the open spaces with decorative stickers, which I find is great because I have leftover stickers, or I have, yeah, I mean, like, there's tons of decorative stickers included in these kits. So I have a bunch of them. I might as well use them. And in the end, when the week is full, I love the way that they look. So you can see that I have written down put out trash cans, and now I'm looking around for the icons. I apparently didn't have a trash can icon, so I've pulled out the Happy Planner sticker book and I'm going to use the trash cans there. My husband was out of town and he normally does it, so that's why you don't normally see that in my planner. But my husband was gone and I needed to remember to put out the trash cans. So into the planner it goes. Now this is another one of those printed little stickers, and this size can be a challenge for me. I don't always find it challenging, but it can be a challenge. And I try to use them when at all possible, just because, like I said already, printed stickers are much, much harder to use in the future when you're not using them with a kit. So now, when I'm doing this also, I try to think about how many things I have to write down on a given day. So for instance, Tuesday, and then where, if there's open white space, like if there's not going to be that many things and I'm going to have open white space, where I want that to be in terms of my decorations and stuff. Sometimes I want it to be right next to where there's already an open decorative element, because then I can just add a strip of washi, or I can add, a couple of flowers in this case. It really just depends on how much I think I'm going to have. Am I going to have a ton, or am I just going to have a little bit? And then is it going to be a standalone element, or is it going to be incorporated with something else? So for example, right there, I wanted that open space to incorporate with that black box so that we could sort of have it spill over, one cluster spill over into 2 days. And so that was why I then skipped ahead and started planning from the bottom up. So now we're on to Wednesday, and I started my planning right next to the decorative part that I added in Tuesday, because I knew I definitely did not want to add more decor right there to be part of that cluster. So this way I knew, okay, it will definitely not end up there. I will have plans and writing and those types of things right next to that, and any decorative clusters that I do have will go elsewhere in that day. I have talked about this before, but I really love this planner. It allows me in my everyday carry, in my, dump all, or my, that planner, to be a little bit more flexible, try different things, try different planners, try different sizes, and still at the end of the year, I will have one planner that can sit on the shelf, which is this one, that can be the keepsake, or the memory planner, if you will, going forward. So that's why I really love this planner, because it really offers me the flexibility to do what I like, which is I like to try new things. I like to plan in different things. And this planner allows me to do that. So I know that's not for everyone. Not everyone wants to do more than one planner, but I do for that sole purpose, because I like to try all kinds of new things, and I like to be able to just jot down things as well. And so it's just really fun for me. All right, so see that long cluster? It's like a torn strip. It's got a corner and then a torn strip. So I sort of turned it on its side and then added that, again, it's a torn piece, like a full box, but the edges are torn off, basically is what it is, and layered those together at the top of Wednesday. And I really like how it came out. I thought it turned out pretty cool. Again, it's a little bit different. I could have probably used a little bit more contrast in one of those stickers, but I think that at the end of the week, it will all look fine. And that's really what the issue is. I try not to get too worked up about things that I don't love until the week is over and it all comes together. And then if I don't love something, I'd be willing to try to change it maybe a little bit or something like that. But one element is rarely going to make or break an entire layout. So that's kind of how I try to remember and try to think of it. Now these sticker sheets, so we know we have the boxes, you can see those there. And then I also have a sheet that's like just decorations, just flowers, just, those types of things. And then there's a sheet that has torn boxes and torn edges and washi strips. And I just love it. I love the variety that I get to have in a kit. And then honestly, because there's so many stickers, I could probably get 2 weeks out of this kit as well. And that's really fun also, because then, especially if I love the kit, like I can get to use it again. And I probably wouldn't use it again really soon. Now look at that right there. That's another one of those where there's a corner and it's a torn edge. And I was able to have it stretch across 2 days because it fit perfectly. I love it when that happens. It doesn't always, but it's perfect when it does. So I found out about some activities on Saturday. So I was adding that right there, and I didn't have the right, like the perfect sticker for it. So I made this one work, but in the end, I kind of love it anyway. So it's great. And then my other son had a baseball game. So I'm just adding that information there as well and using the highlighter directly on the page. And then I will write on top of it. And again, I just love that gray highlighter. I love how it adds a little bit of distinction, but it's nothing over the top. It's not really bold or bright. And for this layout, that is definitely what's needed. Now I did just go with a sticker here as opposed to stamping like I did the first go through. But I think that's okay too, right? Like having the variety of different icons. I don't know. At least it works for me. Now those little scallop boxes are really fun, but they're very specific because they're not huge. So I always kind of have to find the right thing to use them for because I write really big, and so I need a lot of space typically, and I don't have too many things that I guess my son's work schedule, but not too many things that I can use tiny little thin stickers for. Now you can see how easily these days fill up, and yes, on Thursdays and Fridays I have all of this need for space with my son's school schedule, but you can see that I don't have a ton of things going on. It's not like I have a day full of meetings or something like that, and yet these things all add up once you're adding errands and you're adding Happy Mail and you're adding activities that pop up, like if you go for a walk or you like my husband plays pickleball or tennis or volleyball, and so then I add those as well. These things just totally add up, and I think you could add temperature, you could add weather, you could add meals. I mean, there's so many things you could add to really make your pages more full as well. That little icon, so stinking cute. I don't know why I just love it so much, but I really do. I probably should pick up some more stickers from Once More with Love because I just find them so adorable. Now you can see I had left that little spot open on Friday, and I just wasn't 100% sure what I was going to do with it, which was why I left it open. I didn't know how full Saturday would end up being, and so I figured if it was kind of empty, I should leave it open because then maybe I could create a big, huge cluster. But I didn't need to because Saturday ended up being a little bit more full than I had thought. So now we can move on to Sunday and finish up. And I'm going to start at the top because I don't want to add another decorative cluster there, since you can see the Friday/Saturday decorative cluster. I didn't want to tie that all together. Now, for some reason, Saturday just wasn't as busy, not as many errands, not as much stuff going on. And I am going to take this next week sticker off. I really love it, but it wasn't a space where I was going to write the things that were going on in the following week, like any due dates or that type of thing. And so I just took it off because I didn't need to layer another sticker on top of it or anything like that. So taking it off worked out fine. I probably tore the paper a tiny bit, but I knew I would cover it with a different sticker, and so that worked out okay. Thanks so much for stopping by and watching. I really do appreciate it. If you have any questions, please leave it in the comment box below, and I will do my best to get back to you. Thank you so much, and make it a great day.